Did you participate in an adult film or modeling years ago and were shocked to find that your content is still published online? Keep watching to learn ways in which you can approach removing your adult content. Hi, my name is Caroline Ford, and I am an attorney here at Mink Law. We represent people like you who agreed to do some explicit modeling or participate in adult content and now seek to have it removed from the internet. In this video, you will learn whether you can have adult content removed from the internet, the best strategies for obtaining removals, and whether you should seek help from an attorney to remove the content. Even if you consented to participating in and the subsequent publication of adult content online, you have options if you would like to have it removed. Before you start any removal process, we recommend that you conduct reverse image searches using popular search engines like Google or subscribing to facial recognition search services like PimEyes. Be careful not to search your name too often directly on porn websites, because it may cause those websites to show up in your search results even if your content isn't actually there. Once you have a full scope of the problem, you can start working to remove the content. If you own the copyright to the content, you can request removal pursuant to the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. DMCA notices can be effective because most websites based in the US are obligated by federal law to comply and remove the content. Therefore, websites can face legal issues if they don't comply. In most cases, websites cannot be held liable for content published on their website by third-party users because of the protections that they're given in Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. However, those protections do not apply to claims related to intellectual property rights. Instead, the DMCA protects a website from those claims if it complies with the notice and takedown procedures in the statute and removes copyrighted content subject to proper notice from the copyright holder. This gives websites subject to US law an additional incentive to remove content if removal is requested by the copyright holder, so it's in your best interest to obtain the copyrights for your content if you do not already own the rights. It gives you legal rights related to the content that you can act upon in litigation if necessary. Owning the copyright does not guarantee that the content will be removed from everywhere, but it gives you the best chance that your removal requests will be granted. If you filmed or created the content yourself, then you already own the copyright, unless you assigned it to someone else. So for example, if you recorded adult content of yourself for your personal OnlyFans channel, you probably own the copyright. If you agreed to participate in adult modeling or films that were produced and created by other people, then you probably do not own the copyright. If you don't own the copyrights, you need to negotiate and obtain them. First, identify who owns the intellectual property rights to the content. Review any contracts, agreements, or releases you signed prior to participating in the production. If you don't remember signing anything, you will have to track down the individual or company who filmed or financed the content. Second, negotiate the terms of a copyright assignment with the copyright holder. You, as the purchaser, should consider factors such as how much you are willing to pay for the copyright and whether you would like the copyright assignment to be kept confidential. Third, draft the copyright assignment. Make sure all of the terms you negotiated are in writing and signed by both parties. It's a good idea to have an attorney draft or at least review an assignment before you sign it. Once you own the copyrights, then you can submit DMCA removal notices to websites for their removal. A DMCA notice requires specific language to be valid. You will need to include 6 pieces of information. Provide enough information for the website to identify your content. Include the URL in your notice and where your content is on that page. Your contact information or that of your authorized agent. Be sure you get their permission to use their contact information before submitting any removal notices. A statement attesting to your good faith belief that use of the content on the website is not authorized by the copyright owner, its agents, or by law. A statement attesting that, under penalty of perjury, the information in your notice is accurate and that you have the right to submit the notice because you are the copyright owner or are authorized to act on their behalf. And 6, you have to include your signature on the notice. Once you submit the notice to the website, the individual who posted your content may be notified of your complaint. The website is obligated to remove the content unless the poster submits a counter notice, essentially saying that they dispute your copyright claim. If you do not own the copyright or cannot reasonably obtain it, then you still have some options to remove the content from the website or from search engines like Google so that it isn't showing up in search results. You can contact the website directly and argue that you no longer consent to the publication of the content and ask them to remove it. Although there's no obligation, some websites are willing to help remove content if you ask. You can also reach out directly to the individual or account who posted the content and make a similar request. If you believe that you were coerced into making the video or otherwise have grounds to argue that you did not consent to the distribution of the content, then you can submit a report to Google to have the website removed from your search results. Make sure to include a sentence or two explaining why the content should be removed. You can also explore options to push the websites down to the last page or eliminate it from your search results. This technique is called suppression, and it can be expensive, but when done properly, can achieve excellent results. We request that you take these steps to better prepare your attorney to tackle your adult content removal issue. First, send your attorney contracts or agreements that you signed prior to participating in the content. Forward your attorney any communications you had with anyone related to the production, including information about former agents if you had one. Compile a list of all the direct links to the content. The cost for content removal services can vary widely depending on how many photos are posted, how long they've been posted, and which websites they have been posted on. Retainers are assessed on a case-by-case basis, but usually range from around $3,500 to $5,000. You will need to speak with an attorney directly to get a better idea of what costs might be in your case. At Mink Law, our attorneys have the expertise to manage the spread of your personal content. We aim to remove as much of the content directly from the websites as possible. If you have any further questions about Mink Law's content removal services, contact us by filling out our contact form, speaking with one of our online chat representatives, or by calling this number. We look forward to helping you take back control over your personal image.